All right, the next thing we're going to do is create a histogram for that same data for the students and how many miles they have traveled away from home. Once again, we're going to think about what we need to do for both our scale, our bin width, in this case on the x-axis, and also the labels that we have. So our numbers we know still go from 50 up to 2,000, and so considering our step size and the graph that we have there, when I was going through it first, I went up and see if I could go up by 200s and actually ran out of space using a step size of 200. So I think what works best here is actually to go by steps of 300 or maybe 400. I'm going to go by 300. Now, if you went by a different step size or different bin width, that's okay, as long as you put the numbers in the right spots. So this is where we might differ a little bit, but I'm going to go by 300. So I'm going to go 0, 300, 600, 900, 1200, 1500, 1800, and 2100. That leaves me a little room, and I don't need to go higher because my maximum was going to be 2000. All right, and then we're looking at the miles away from home, which isn't exactly the same way I labeled this one, a distance away from home in miles. Okay, so that works. We can do that. And then on the y-axis of a histogram, we always have the frequency. In other words, how many students there are. In this case, how many students fit into that category. And usually the frequency, we're just going up by ones. Unless you have a large number of data, you might need to reconsider that and make sure that you can tally up your bin heights. All right, so if we're going on our first bin, I am going to go between 0 and 300. So if we're looking at 0 to 300, that means that it's actually 0 to 299. So let's look at our data. 0 to 299 would be everywhere up to here. So we don't count the 300s in that. The 300s are going to go in the next one. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 fit into this category. And then from 300 to 600, which would be 300 to 599, we have a whole bunch of those. So that goes up to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then, I just noticed here when I was numbering these, 10, 11 comes after 10, and then 12. All right. And then from 600 to 900, so 600 to 899, there's just 1. And then from 900 to 1200 or 1100 or 900 to 1199, again, there's just 1. And then there's not another one until we get up to the 2000 here, which is going to be between 1800 and 2100. Okay. So how many numbers fit into that first bin? There were 8 students that had traveled between 0 and 299 miles away from home. There were 9 students that traveled between 300 and 599, so we'll go up one more here. And then there was 1 student that traveled between 600 and 899, so that's only 1 here. 1 student that traveled between 900 and 1199, so 1 there. And then the last one student was between 1800 and 2100, so we skip up to that. So 1 student there. So now we have a histogram, and again, your histogram could look a little bit different than this if you used a different step size here, but you also had to make sure that it fit on the graph. So you're probably pretty close to 300. Maybe you used 250, or maybe you used 400, it's possible, or something like that, but I used 300. So our answers could be